Good evening, everybody. I'm Thomas Beck. Welcome to tonight's WMPA TV Channel 5 election night coverage. What I'm going to do here is just spend a little time on air this evening. We're also sending out to YouTube and Facebook, hopefully, and just going to get some local numbers for you. I'm not going to get too much into the presidential race, just because it's very contentious, and I'm not out to ruffle any feathers. I'm not allowed to get get a lot of opinions. I'm just going to try to give the numbers. Anybody that sees me on Facebook, you know what I think and who I support, because I'm one of those ones that just put it out there, but that's not what I'm here for tonight. Tonight I'm here just to present the information to you. Why am I doing this? Well, you know, it's just a reality of 2024. Local media really doesn't exist like it did back in 20, 30 years ago. Also, the media that exists down in Dayton, they are much smaller than they used to be, so they don't branch out and get out into the more rural areas like they used to as well. So there's sort of a gap there. So not only does it give me an opportunity to play with my virtual set and some other equipment and such, but also, hopefully, if anyone watches, provides a little bit of a service for you. So you'll see coming up on the bottom of the screen a couple websites crawling. If you want more detailed information or look at some of the stuff that I will be showing on the screen, you can find it here at the websites listed below. So before we get into numbers today, they are starting to come in, but the percentages are still pretty low, so we're not going to do the numbers right away because I don't want to freak anybody out. Another update or two, I think we'll have an idea which way it's going for the evening. But let's look at some numbers from the stats here. So first thing I want to bring up here. All right, here's a chart. This actually shows Miami County, Ohio for this general election. This actually shows the mail-in and the absentee voted. So overall, there were 8,670 overall ballots requested, and 7,754 of them thus far have been returned. And I'm sure that's probably a big part of the numbers that we're showing right now. So that's a return rate of about 89%, which isn't too terribly bad at all. This is a great little chart. You can break it down by method too. Out of those requested ballots, mail ballots comprised 18%, personal delivery 3%, Dropbox 3%, early in-person 75%. So early voting, if that's something that you support, that's something you like, those actually are fairly good numbers, and it's something to keep an eye on. So we'll go on to our next result here. We're going to go back in time, all right? I want to get an idea of where we were. Oh, let's see here. Let's go back. Let's see where we were 4 years ago. All right, last presidential election. So let's go on back to that screen right there. This is the presidential race in Miami County. Here you can see that, you know, as expected, you know, Miami County is what it is. It's a very Republican community, and it has been that way for as far back as I can remember. Trump and Pence, they won the county back in 2020. They got 41,000 votes, which was 71%, to Joe Biden's 15,000, which was 26%. Voter turnout for that election was 77.3%, so not a terribly bad turnout 4 years ago. Warren Davidson, Vanessa Enoch, yes, they were on the ballot again. I think this is at least the third time they've went up against each other. Warren Davidson, he won by about a 75 to 24% margin, so not too terribly different from what you see there with the congressional. The undervotes, you see these undervotes. What those are is that those are ballots where either you're supposed to select two and they only selected one, or you're supposed to select one and no one filled it in. So if you skip a vote, it shows up as an undervote. Very interesting on the undervotes back in 20 for the state representative. And we'll just scroll down and give you a couple more other things. You can see a lot of undervotes. A lot of people went in, looks like they voted for Trump, maybe Warren Davidson, and then left. Lots of undervotes. and it's just sad, really. But you know, a lot of it is you're voting for a sheriff or a judge. You know, it's hard to get information and make a wise choice. So I think a lot of people just choose not to bother. So that's where a look at where we stood last year. Now, besides all the political campaigns going on this time around, we also have a school issue here in Milton Union School District. Of course, they've been trying for several attempts now, dating back to last year, to get a operating levy of one form or another passed. So let me scroll on down here. Last November, about 1 year ago, if I can find it here, I lost my page. All right. I'm sorry, there it was. All right, so this was back in November. So, November 2023, Milton Union School operating levy was on. 6,890 registered voters. Turnout was 56% for that. For the levy, 1,095 against 2,690. So it failed by a percentage of 71% to just under 29%. They put it on the ballot again later on in the primary this year. The tax still was defeated by a narrower margin, this time 61 to 38.2%. So, you know, it is starting to trend in the right direction, and we'll see if tonight they can get over that hump and get their operating levy passed. They did make some cuts as a result of the last failure, busing being the main cut. Also, they changed to where all the schools, all grade levels, the school days are synced up to where they start and stop at the same time, so it's not staggered like it, you know, traditionally has been. So let me check here and see this current result, see what kind of percentage we got. All right, they haven't updated them since we went on the air, but I'll just go with what we got, and then maybe by the time I'm done, they'll have some stuff up and ready for you. So here we go. This is today's preliminary results. Again, this is unofficial. This only this ain't all the ballots cast as of yet. This is just what they have counted so far. Donald Trump is beating Kamala Harris by about 67.26% to 31.75%. All, you know, about 11,000 point difference, which isn't really nearly what, you know, you're accustomed to seeing with Republican candidates. So I personally find that interesting. Can you see the trend on undervotes once you get to the Supreme Court justices? United States Senator. So far, 19,555 votes for Marino. Sherrod Brown, 10,411. 737 for Don Kissick, who's the Libertarian, and 25 write-ins. 466, excuse me, undervotes on that. So people, for the most part, had an opinion one way or another, and that was quite a contest. Here we're looking at Warren Davidson and Vanessa. Warren Davidson's got a commanding lead, 74% to 25% for Vanessa. Out of 5,000, you know, so far, let's see, 5,057 votes counted. For the 15th District to Congress, which is up around Piqua, which is where I reside, Mr. Kerry is leading predominantly for that. So no surprise there either. State Representative Newman is commanding his lead over Melissa Van Dyke. And let's scroll on down here. The sheriff, he ran unopposed. Recorder was a write-in ballot. Treasurer, same kind of thing. A lot of unopposed contests, which you hate to see. And as there was any surprise at all, Dr. Ginn, congratulations. You're well on your way to becoming coroner once again. getting reelected. Busy man. I don't know how he finds time to do everything that he does, but congratulations to Dr. Ginn. State issue 1. This is the gerrymandering issue that was on the ballot. It's so far, with the ballots cast so far, about 29,000 votes cast so far. No is leading against it, 19,181 to 10,232. And we'll just keep scrolling down here. Pleasant Hill, gas aggregation. It looks like that's on its way to passing. And yep, they've got, that's well on its way to passing. Same thing for electric. Lots of charter amendments in Tip City. Cuffington School, that's going to be pretty close based upon early results here. Miami East, looks like it's got a narrow win. Milton Union, here we go for the library. For the tax levy so far, it is the yeas are 59% and the against is 40.54%. And the income tax levy for the Milton Union schools at this point, the noes are leading the yeses, 59.56% to 40.44%. Again, this is early. Not anywhere near all the votes have been counted yet, so we're not going to call anything here tonight. That's not what I'm here for. But we'll check the updates on these every so often, and when there's an update, we'll bring it on back. So, yep, I imagine a lot of those votes might have been some early votes that were counted first while they were waiting for the rural voting districts to deliver the ballots to the Board of Elections for them to be counted tonight. So that's pretty much where we stand. There's really no issues going on in West Milton proper. Tickle my throat, forgive me. But anyway, we'll see where we are. So we'll just hold on for a few minutes. I expected them to update here at any moment. So far, they'd cast 31,200 ballots. And in case you're wondering, there are 78,731 registered voters in Miami County. So obviously, this is well above the call-ins or the absentee and the early ballots. So these do reflect some of the voting precincts in the county tonight. So they're looks like about halfway through counting the ballots. You should not have more than 38,731 ballots cast. That probably would not be a good thing, I would imagine. So we're going to be in a little holding pattern here. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what's going to happen if the school issue does not pass this evening? Well, stay tuned. I'm pretty sure the school board will have to make some tough decisions and try to figure out where to go to and what approach to take next. It's a tough place to be in for all sides. It really is. And so we will see how that goes. Like I said, it's only about half, so that number could flip very easily with a click of the refresh button. So we're going to hope that that goes through. Now, this is my first attempt trying to do an election show, so please bear with me. If any of you would like to join me in the future, I would love to expand this. It'd be nice to have maybe a couple people, maybe some analysts, maybe a Democrat and Republican, give their points of view on it, and I just moderate it and give the numbers and go from there. I do believe this most certainly is an important service that we can provide. So And looking at registered voters from previous years, it has climbed by a couple thousand here in Miami County. So the population in terms of registered voters has increased over the last 4 years. So, you know, I suppose that's a good thing. So let's look at some of these numbers again here as we're waiting for them to update things. So you have to look at my face. We'll just go down and recap some of these again. So Trump and Vance, 20,859 votes to 9,846 for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That's up a little bit. Usually you don't see the Democrats often get the past few times. They don't get that high, so that's interesting. Supreme Court, Megan Shanahan is defeating Michael Donnelly, 69% to 30.88%. Joseph Dieters, running for justice for the Supreme Court. He's got a 20,514 to 9,350 lead, so about 69% to a 31%. Daniel Hawkins and Lisa Forbes. Looks like Mr. Hawkins is on his way to win again, and I'll believe all three of those are Republicans, if I recall correctly. So again, being Miami County, you know, that's not necessarily a surprise there. So Bernie Moreno, Sherrod Brown, that is pretty close. Closer than what I would expect it to be. But I think a lot of that is the reflection of the campaign ads for both candidates. It was a negative campaign, lots of money put into it. We're all sick and tired of the commercials. If I could sell political ads on the cable station, I'd probably have enough money to last me for 4 years then. You know, maybe that's something we ought to do. Don Kissick, the Libertarians, 737. A lot of that's probably protest votes because they fed up with Moreno and Brown, I would imagine. Warren Davidson and Vanessa, you know. So again, that's like the third or fourth time those two have went up against each other. See if they updated it here. No, they have not. Little presidential update. I got Fox News on in the background here, and their projections so far, still way too early, but Electoral College rise so far, Trump's a little bit of a Harris, 111 to 72, but that could flip just like that because you know, none of the big states have really reported yet. Ted Cruz is losing to Allred in Texas so far. I'm too close to call, but it's looking like Mr. Cruz might be on his way out of the Senate. So there we are. So we'll wait a few minutes here. Hopefully they update the results in the next few minutes. I would suspect they would because those first ones came up right around 8 o'clock. So I would suspect that unless they're having some issues, that will get updated any moment now. So just in case you're wondering where I'm at, well, I am actually in the council chambers in the municipal building. I got a green screen behind me and I've created a bit of a virtual set. So it's nice to be able to give a look like this as opposed to sit in the council chambers. Technology has come a long way since 1985 when I started doing this. Scrolling through here. Again, the Milton Union income tax levy. Currently, looks like they've counted 2,493 ballots and 54 undervotes on that. 54 or 3 overvotes. So that would be where, you know, somebody either filled in both circles, or there might be a blemish on it or something. So, you know, that's something that if this gets real close, they'll go back and look at those things. Right now, it is 1,451 against the levy to 985 for. And it looks like in the district, there's 7,148 registered voters in the Milton Union School District that could participate in this vote today. So if anybody has any questions for me, if you're on YouTube, just bring up the chat. You're welcome to leave me a question or a comment, and I'll be happy to share those. Again, if you want to get the latest results, I got a couple websites scrolling at the bottom of the screen. ohiosos.gov/election. A lot of interesting data there for you. And you can, all the Miami County races you can find at Board of Elections, boe.ohio.gov/Miami. And again, that's where I'm going for all my numbers this evening. Take a look at another website here while we're waiting. Let's go to this. Statewide statistics. Only 5.97 of the precincts reporting so far. And you got Trump just slightly ahead of Harris at this point, 50.73% to 48.42%. And here's State Issue 1 for the Redistricting Commission to be formed. It is, so currently it is failing by 51.25% to 48.75. Again, this is a small sample size, so it looks like it might be on track to be a tight race with that as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Over in Monroe Township, they have a senior citizen levy on the ballot, 57.39% voting in favor of that, 2,325 voting against, 312 undervotes on that as well. All right, looks like they updated some numbers, so let's take a look at them here. There we go. The turnout so far has moved up to 40.56%. Presidential race, Donald Trump is over Kamala Harris, 67.62 to 31.39%. Marino extending his lead a bit over Sherrod Brown, 63.92% to 33.56. Warren Davidson, about 74% to 25% for Vanessa Enoch. State Issue 1, 19,725 against, 10,380 votes no, so 65% to 34.48%. Cass Town Fire looks like it's on its way to passing. Charter Amendment in Huber Heights as well. Scroll on down, we'll see if the numbers have changed here locally. Mountain Union Library Levy, 1452 for, 990 against, so it's passing by about 59.46% to 40.54. And for the tax, against the tax levy for Milton Union Schools, it's at 59.56% to 40.44. So we're at about a turnout rate of 34 still. So they really haven't updated or counted any more votes from around here. So going to be a little while. I don't know the order in which they count votes. I would imagine that they have a method, or it's more than just who shows up first. Now, if being part of an election, if this interests you, they always need volunteers at the polling booths. My mother did that for decades in Laura, along with Wilma Dean Netzley and I think Gene Baker back in the day, and maybe Gene and Gene. And, it was something that they did all the time. They got a little stipend for it, but nothing major. It's a long day, but that is something which they did for decades. And like I said, that's just when I started voting, that's who I saw. And, small town atmosphere, you'd go in and vote and, you might chat a little bit. And it was a great experience when I was beginning voting to be able to do that in my hometown. I'm not on an election board or a polling a poll worker. I have said at some point in my life I would like to do that a little bit just because my mom did, and I'll probably do it when I retire. Like many poll workers, are usually a little older because they can afford to spend those long days. And but I could see me definitely doing something like that. Looking at Fox News in the background, they're not giving it to Trump here in Ohio yet, but it definitely seems like it might be leaning that way. They still got a count though, just east of Toledo, south of Sandusky. There's still some, there's still a few counties. Looks like could make it go either way. It definitely looks like it might be closer in Ohio than what they thought it would be. So it's going to be an interesting night. So we're just sitting here in a waiting mode, waiting for more votes to come in. Probably started the show a little early. Miami County is usually pretty quick with their votes. So I went ahead and started at about 8:15. I probably should have started at around 9. So you live and you learn, because I'm not necessarily a good long-winded talker. That's why I don't do play-by-play announcing. I press the buttons behind the scenes. Go back on over here to one of the Ohio sites, current presidential view with only 10 of the precincts reporting. So as you can see, very early in the process, a little over 8 million registered voters. We're sitting right now, about just shy of 3 million counted so far. So I suspect the next update will probably be a pretty large batch. So hopefully we get that soon. All right, while we're waiting for that, let me just show you the Board of Elections website in case you're not familiar with it at all. So just fade away to that. All right. Make that full screen a little easier to see. All right, this is the home page that'll be brought up when you go to the website. And you got poll workers wanted and just some general information on the home page. Current events. Again, they gave you early voting hours, absentee ballots, registration deadlines, just general info. Then you click on election info, and this is where the heart and soul of this website is. So you can check out who the elected officials are, your election results, the workers, frequently asked questions, how to do provisional voting, eligibility, vote, there's just, you name it, ballots. So if you want to get on here early and read the, all that text on state issue 1, you can go on to here. If it's a state issue, it's usually a couple months prior to the election. You can visit this site and read that fine print, which I encourage everybody to do. Again, early voting hours. It's a nice little website to go to. Information if you want an absentee. Precinct and voting locations. So if you don't know where to go, you can go to this page, put in your address. It'll tell you where your polling location is for the upcoming election. So it's a simple website. It's nothing fancy, but it is very, very functional. You go into election results, and you can see, you can go back. Let's see how far they go right now. So we can go to 2016 too. So let's just do that for giggles. All right, let's click on that. All right, this was 2016. So turnout for that election, let's see, there's a 70, it looks like that, I believe that's it, 73%. So that was a big turnout. I remember when I went to vote, I went early, and I was amazed how many people were voting as early as I went. And I knew then it was going to be an interesting day. So 36,311 votes for Trump in 2016, 12,832 votes for Clinton and Kaine, which is just shy of 25%. Portman was running for senator. Looks like he won handedly. Warren Davidson, representative to Congress, he won handsomely then as well. So that was 2016. 2020, look at the presidential election. Trump got 71% that time, 26.97% for Biden and Harris. No updates yet. Ooh, I was thinking. Nope, had me fooled. So I'm going to take a little pause here. I'll be back in just a moment with some updated information. All right, I'm back here. We got a major update. At first I was seeing the conflict here. So I don't know if the Board of Elections had things posted incorrectly to begin with, or the votes have swung. Looks like they might have been a mistake originally, because now the Board of Elections website, let's see here, is showing 1,451 against the levy, 985 for the levy. So it's got a 59 to 56 going. But you look here, I'm looking at a local media source, and they sort of got that inverted. So I'm wondering if they were looking at the library numbers instead of the school numbers. That is a possibility, I believe. So that might be what's going on there. So try to double check your numbers, and you get conflicting information. And you know, it's election night, folks. There's a whole lot going on. So I'll continue to double check those numbers, and I'll give you some updates as soon as I can. Be right back. Alrighty, here got an update for you. 20 precincts reported out of 87 total. 36,949 ballots cast so far. So let's zoom in and let's check this out. Presidential race is about the same. Marino still with an edge over Sherrod Brown, 64% to 32. Mr. Davidson's definitely on track in Miami County to win again anyway. Let's go down to the school. Slight change here. Against the levy right now is 59.56% to 40.44, so it's currently 2,493 ballots cast, 1,451 against, 985 for. So those numbers really didn't change. So. I don't know how many people voted in the district. No way of knowing that right now. I suspect being a presidential election, though, I'm not comfortable at all because, you know, only a 35% turnout is, you know, unbelievably low. And I'm looking like over in Miami East, the turnout was 81.76%. So it looks like that a lot of the votes might be coming from that part of the district here. Monroe Township, yeah. Lost Creek, 86. Tip, yeah, so I don't think they've really gotten too much into our particular neck of the woods as of yet. In case you're wondering, that so far the, you know, projected, according to Fox News, where in their projections, they got Trump with 178 electoral votes, Harris with 113. Of course, you need 270. But again, a lot of the main states, that number could change in a blink of an eye. It probably will be early into the morning, if not tomorrow, or depending on if there's any lawsuits, it could be it could be a while before we know who won the race. C&J Party Supply, forgot about them. They are on the ballot for Sunday liquor sales, and it looks like that is going to overwhelmingly pass. That's really not a surprise. Newton School income tax. So far it is passing as well. So it looks like they're updating things about every half hour, so we should have some new numbers coming out in the next 10 minutes or so. So again, I'm going to take a break, keep crunching the numbers, and stay tuned, and I'll give you some updates as soon as I can. Again, there is some confusion out there. We got a local media station out of Dayton, Ohio. They are having conflicting numbers in regards to the Milton Union School issue, as opposed to what the Board of Elections is showing. My opinion, and this only opinion is that the reason for that is that it's basically due to, looks like they might be reading off the Milton Union Library line instead of the Milton Union Schools line. We're going to go with the numbers that's on the Board of Elections site, as those should be the ones that are most accountable. No updates yet. We are awaiting another update from the Miami County Board of Elections. Hopefully we have one of those soon. And for the Milton Union Schools, there's 7,148 registered voters in the school district. So far, they've counted 2,493 ballots. So for the school issue, we have a long way to go. By the numbers, Miami County-wise, no surprise there. Pretty much, Republican ticket all the way down. Alcohol sales and C&J Party Supply looks like that's going to pass. I forgot that was on the ballot. Miami East looks like they're on their way to get their improvement levy approved. Newton Schools as well. Last I checked, it looked like they were, good chance they were headed in the right direction as well. Troy City Schools had a general permanent improvement item on the levy, and that one is pretty close, but it is passing by just a little bit. Tecumseh's school substitute levy is passing pretty handedly. Their improvements levy looks like they got multiple levies on there. It's tied, so it's a deadlock. Newton Schools, yep, they got 2,366 registered voters so far. They've only counted 830, but it's winning right now, 444 to 365. And just looking at the results, it's hard to tell, but when you get to the local results, you see the numbers really increase in terms of turnout. So that gives you an idea of what precincts they have counted. I mean, some of them are well into the 80% turnout out in the townships, which, if we end up with an 85, 86% turnout for an election, wow, that's outstanding. Usually, I was just looking back at previous years for presidential, the general election is usually around between 70 and 80%, somewhere in there. Primaries are disappointing. Even this past year's primary, it was about 27, 28%. A lot of us say we want change, we'd like to see new people, but when you only got 27% of the electorate going to the primary, that's where you can make changes, is in the primary. Especially if you want to keep within your ideology or your party. If you got multiple people running in a primary, there's your chance to make a change and then still hold true to your beliefs come November. But that trend goes back, as far as I can see, is people just don't turn out for the primaries for whatever reason. We got 36,948 ballots cast out of 78,731 registered voters so far. So with what they've counted so far, we're at 47% of potential ballots have been counted if everybody were to vote. So like I said, it looks like they've been updating about every half hour or so. So I would expect an update here in the next few minutes if they're going to keep true to that. Again, Miami County, I've never really had a problem with how they handle the elections. I've always thought they do a fine job. Again, if you want to check out the numbers for yourself and keep up to date with it, you just go to boe.ohio.gov/Miami. That'll take you to Miami County's Board of Elections site where you can get the same results that I am looking at. Again, expecting an update here shortly. So hopefully this next update will have more votes counted from over here on the west side of the county, Mount Union School District in particular. I know that's probably the biggest local interest, and locally that's probably been the biggest division as well. So a lot goes into that. I'm not here to get involved in that. Ohio, they are declaring Ohio for Trump. 54% to 45 is what the projection is. So those electoral, I believe it's 17 electoral votes now will go to 17 will go to Donald Trump. So that's with 54% of the vote counted. They are confident that he's going to win Ohio, which again, you know, that's no surprise either. And we'll just leave that at that as well. A slight update, but I don't think there's been any changes at our level yet. Nope, we're still sitting at 34.88%. Again, if you're watching this, even if it's just for a minute or two, I do appreciate you tuning in. I'm not expecting a big crowd for this. I'm just using this as a chance to just try something different, do some new things. And it's a service that I think we can provide because there's really not the local media that there used to be back in the day. I mentioned that when I first started this. Remember back in the day, you know, we have a big election night, and you probably still do this. I'm sure they're still doing something. You turn on the old WPTW, and they'd be live from the courthouse, the Board of Elections, giving results. I could do that now. I mean, I could easily take this on the road and be broadcasting live from the Board of Elections on election night. I can go live from anywhere I can get a data stream out of, whether it be a hotspot or somebody's Ethernet or Wi-Fi. The capabilities now, I even got graphics set I could put in here to where I could do network quality graphics with these elections if I had somebody be able to input the data, or else the county and I could set up a data feed where it would automatically populate my graphics, which, you know, I got the capability, it just, you don't have the means to establish that. So, but anyway, it's amazing what you can do these days. I'll talk about the station for a little while we're waiting for these numbers to update here. Some things that will be coming up on WMPA. Of course, if you hadn't noticed, we've started assisting the school for the time being with streaming of their school board meetings. And so those will be going on for the foreseeable future. It's more of a test run. Going to do it for a few months. I imagine we'll do it till the end of the year, and at some point we'll sit down and see what the school's preference is, if that's something they want to continue. If so, is that they want us to still help them provide that service, or do they want to go out and do it on their own, or whatever means they want to go about that. But in the meantime, we're getting good views on it, and I think that's great. The meetings, they will be available and broadcast over Channel 5. They'll be shown live over our YouTube page. Eventually, though, the on-demand streams will go to a YouTube page that the school has created. So you will be able to find the meetings on demand on their YouTube page once we get that up and going in the next couple of months. And we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Basketball season coming up. I'll be doing as many of the boys and girls basketball games as my real work, my real job schedule allows, and we'll go from there. But I'm looking forward to that. I expect the girls are going to have, ladies are going to have an excellent team this year. The boys had a little rough year last year, but I tell you, they had no quit in them, no quit at all. So if they have evolved and they have progressed, they should be a very competitive and fun team to watch, and watch them continue to grow. Of course, we're doing council meetings. We're doing workshop sessions as well. Coming up this Saturday, we are going to have in the morning the Veterans Day program at Hoffman Global. That will be live. And as we retire some of the Hometown Hero banners, have a little presentation for that. It's an annual tradition now here in the community. And then in the evening, I'll be broadcasting live from Piqua. The Miami Valley Veterans Museum is having their annual Dancing with the Miami Valley Stars. It's one of their biggest fundraisers for the museum every year. Brings in a good crowd, brings in a good chunk of change. I've volunteered my time and efforts, and we help them out, making the ability to stream that and for people to watch it. That's something that this will be my second year doing that, and I'm very, very happy to help them out with that any way I can. Coming up with the holidays, I don't have anything special planned for the holiday season. If you have something you would like to see, let me know. Please send me a message on Facebook and say, hey, why don't you do this? Doing school choirs and things, which I did for years and I love to do. But the realities in 2024 is copyright issues and things have gotten to the point to where it is more and more difficult to legally do that. Not that we were doing it entirely legally before, but they're looking for it more than what they were. And it's become very problematic in a lot of ways. And that's an area that I wished they could work that out to where people and organizations such like us that really don't make anything could still provide that service. No updates yet, but hopefully we'll have that shortly. Coming up next year, provided again my schedule and the weather and all that permits, we will be doing the memorial service down in the park, Riverside Cemetery rather. We'll be doing that and hope to be broadcasting that live this year. We'll be at the 4th of July, of course. We usually provide the PA system for the event. Do some announcing for the parade as well, and we'll be streaming that live again, weather permitting and schedule permitting. And then I'm probably going to set up some shop, and we'll probably be live from the top of the hill all evening long, including the fireworks in the evening. So that's something we're looking forward to. And that's pretty much it. My might do some stuff. We won't necessarily stream it live, again, because of copyright issues, but there's some stuff I like to do to make the Rock on the Hill a little better. And I'd like to get down, do some live remotes at the car show, and if they have their Halloween shindig downtown, I would like to do that, or bring back the Halloween candy giveaway. If I could find a couple people to help me out with that, I'd love to bring that show down. That's always been one of my favorite programs to do. I am taking a vacation next year in September, so I might miss a game or two, a football game or two, but my oldest son and I, we are going to Iceland. So they got an excellent internet in Iceland. I may try to do something live from Iceland just to see if I can do something live from Iceland. So the idea of being able to do that, just like the techno geek in me is like, woo! So even if it's just for a couple minutes at a waterfall somewhere, good chance that's going to happen. Hey, it looks like Cruz is going to squeak by down in Texas, so he's going to hold on to his Senate seat. Boy, they threw a lot of money to try to get him out, and they came pretty close too. So currently right now it's sitting at 47 Republicans in the Senate, 37 Democrats. You need a majority of 51 in the Senate. So we'll see how that goes. You know, I'm not so concerned about the composition of the Senate, and I'm going to get a little political here. I'm not so concerned about the composition of the Senate and the House. What I want is a functional Congress. You know, I want people that can work together and will work together and will compromise when there needs to be compromise. I want them to get things done. We haven't had that in a long, long time, you know, and I would hope we can get past this partisan nonsense we're at. I mean, it's all right to have different ideologies, but man, at the end of the day, you still got to find ways to work together. And I've had some battles on social media, and they've been fun. I got some friends that are, you know, way to the right of me. I got some friends that are way to the left, and especially with the ones on the left, I've had some good conversations. You know, they don't often change my mind, but they do get me to look at things from a different point of view sometimes. So I find them worthwhile, and at the end of the day, you know, they're still my friends, and I still like them or love them as much as I did before, and you know, and we just go with it. I think we as a nation needs to get back to that. They're taking their time at the Board of Elections today. So either they are just having issues, or they are just swamped today. You know, they got to tabulate these numbers, and they got to get them into the forms and make the PDFs. I don't know exactly how that process goes. That would be a fun program to do sometime. So maybe I'll get with them sometime, and they can run me through the process of how they once they get the ballots, how they count them, how they post their information on there, and that would be fantastic. All right, we're going to review what we got so far with the results coming in. Do that one more time. Let's go here. We're back to the website. Miami. Now, this is just Miami County, folks. All right, so these aren't statewide issues or results or anything of that sort. As expected, Donald Trump went in Miami County pretty soundly, though. I mean, I will say Harris made a good. She made a good. That's substantial. That's growing, and I would like to look into those numbers. I suspect a lot of this increase has been down around Huber Heights, with the development there, around Bethel School and all that. And Tip City down in the southern part of the county. I suspect that's where the increases have been coming from. Again, that's just speculation. Republicans winning pretty much everything down the road. Bernie Moreno definitely won Miami County anyway. David Warren won Miami County. You know, and unfortunately, you know, with, you know, especially with the Congress, you know, if he's winning Miami County, chances are he's going to win the whole thing, because, you know, as evidenced by State Issue 1 being on the ballot in the first place, the way they construct the congressional districts makes it very hard for somebody of the, what you'd call the minority party, I guess, to be able to upset someone within the majority party, especially an incumbent. West Falls, you know, got county commissioners. They were running unopposed, so they're definitely a shoe-in. Dr. Ginn, congratulations. You know, he's running unopposed. He's definitely a shoe-in. Let's see. 28, well, there's the write-in candidate, county recorder. He didn't get on the ballot, so that was all undervotes. That was all write-ins. So they got 8,146 write-ins. Everybody else left it blank. So far, 28,803 people just skipped that line and went on. Not really a majority rules type of vote cast there, but those things happen sometimes. All right. Let me refresh it once again. No updates yet. There again, you see Dr. Ginn. Excellent. And there's some undervotes there, but, you know, it's corner. He did great. So congratulations again. Miami County did not like State Issue 1 overall. Casstown, looks like Casstown's going to get their fire levy with 72% turnout so far. So that district obviously has pretty much been counted, I would imagine. Getting Huber Heights, charter amendments. Gas and electric aggregation, looks like it's going well. Have no information on the Tip City charter amendments. Lost Creek Fire Department, well on their way. Monroe Township is leading. They've had about a little less than half voted, so still a lot of ballots out there to count. I'm not going to necessarily hang on here all night. Just really no need for me to do that, but I am going to try to hang out until we get a little more of the local school issue levy, so we get to where we got an idea where that's headed, and then we'll call it a day probably. We'll go through here yet and see if their error has been found. No, they have not noticed their error yet on that local TV station. All right, let's go back to the state level here. Check this out so you don't have to look at my face. Trump is starting to pull ahead, so they must be getting more into the rural areas. Usually, a lot of times Columbus comes in first. Columbus is very, very blue these days. It's the melting pot of Ohio. There's a lot of diversity in Columbus, but the city itself is very blue. The suburbs around there are very red, and all the district, that's just the way Columbus has been for quite some time. State issue 2 looks like it's pulling away a little bit, so we're getting up around 41% of the districts reporting. So a little over 3 million. We still got a ways to go on that one too, but we're getting enough in now you can sort of guess what the trend probably will be. I've been talking about the website here. Like if you go to, I'll bring that up. Go here, you see the yes and the no on the school levy, but then you go to the Board of Election results and go down here. And it's sort of the other way around. But if you look, right above it's the library levy. I think these are the numbers that they're looking at. And I think they just read the wrong line. So hopefully next time that they update those reports, they'll get that fixed. So I hope people aren't watching that and going to wake up in the morning. What do you mean? That would be terrible. Yep, we're still sitting at 36,000 voters. Waiting for that to change. New Hampshire's gone to Harris, they say. So yeah, it's going to be a long night, folks. It's going to be a long night on the national front. See me trying to refresh here, nothing new coming up, so we'll take a little break and I'll be back in just a moment. All right, no updates yet. I'll take a little break. Thanks for bearing with me. A little bit about the set here. What is real? This is real. I am real, believe it or not. I'm not an avatar. I got green screen back here. I got a graphic on my streaming software that goes in the screen over here behind me. And then I have this image sort of cropped and positioned to the right, because I am actually, if you're looking at my camera view, I'm actually nowhere near. I'd be in the middle of the screen. You wouldn't be able to see the screen if me was actually where I am relative on the camera. So I did some shifting and shuffling around for that. I'm on the dais where the council members sit, using my wireless microphone. You can see where I am cropped a little bit. See how my hand disappears? Yeah, that's where the frame ends. So you really can't tell it unless I go too far that way. You know, I'm fine over here. It's sort of matted in, so you sort of got to stay in your box, so to speak, or your hand just goes woo and just disappears off the screen, and then it sort of gives the illusion of reality away. But I'm very happy with the look at this. I mean, when I started doing this in '85, something like this was, in a station like this, it was just inconceivable. 10 years ago, I would have said, oh, it'd be nice. And I could have done part of this. I probably could have done a simple green screen, but I would have had trouble doing the motion graphic in the back and the lower thirds on the bottom. Last 10 years, things have really come along. I'm even able to change this picture. If you didn't notice, this is actually downtown. That's like Wertz's right there. And I was able to change the background out the windows to whatever I wanted. So I had a picture downtown, so I put it in there and shifted it around. So, and you can have multiple sets too. See what I can show you here. Let me find my set that I'm at. Might even show you what I look like here. I could do a close-up, far away, even further away. So can do various types of sets is what I can do. Let's take another look here. Still no updates. I tell you, I'm wondering if they're having issues. Now, of course, I expect them to be slower today because, like, during the primary, it was like a 27% turnout rate. So, you know, 20%, you know, of what? 80,000, you know? So, I had 20,000 votes to count, you know, lickety split. If we got an 85% turnout rate tonight, like it's looking like we might have had in Miami County, you know, you're 60, 70,000 votes, you know, that's going to take longer. So I'm going to stay here a little longer than I thought I would, just because obviously they need the time to get it right. So we'll hang out here, especially when I got a local station in Dayton that's giving the wrong numbers. So I think they know they're doing this, and they're like, count Union Township last. Yeah, wouldn't put that past them. People commenting on Facebook, they're noticing the discrepancy in the levy numbers. So a little debate going on there. So I'm trying to work them through that, saying, hey, you should be watching us. Yeah, So waiting for the numbers to update once again. So as of current, last update, the school levy is actually failing. I know it's out there on some TV stations that it's passing, but that appears to be an error on their part. But it's still too close and still not enough votes to really be counted to where we can really even think about calling that one way or another. If I remember that right, this is the third attempt to get a levy passed for the school. They tried one about a year ago, went down to defeat. Had one again this spring during the primary, and it too failed, but by a lesser amount than the previous attempt. And this time they're trying an earned income tax levy, hoping to get that passed. They did make some cuts over the summer, primarily in busing, changing who gets bused and how far away you got to be bused, and as well as the timing. So they have everybody, elementary all through high school, arriving at school at the same time instead of being staggered. So that's the most obvious cuts that have happened so far. If the levy doesn't pass today, but they're probably going to have to make some tough decisions. Even if it were to pass, you know, it's not like they wake up tomorrow and all that money's there. So it takes a few months to a year for that to really revenues start to be coming in. So even if they were to get it, you know, there's no guarantee everything would come back like that. Some of them might. I mean, they do have a bit of a nest egg. They might decide to get into that and use that to, you know, get things up. But that's a decision the school board has to make. We are going to be streaming the school board meetings for the foreseeable future. So make sure you tune into those. In fact, we got one coming up on Monday, I believe Monday the 18th is the next school board meeting. I believe that's at 6 p.m. So that might be a good one to tune into, based upon to find out what ramifications of this passing or not will have on your children. That would be a good one to check out. Come on, guys. Must be on a lunch break. Looks like Wisconsin, it's within a half a percentage point so far. They're at 25% in, so I don't know where those districts are. So that one's going to be a nail biter like they predicted, it looks like. New York and Illinois for Harris, those are big electoral college wins. There's, again, no surprise there. No surprise at all. So the projected electoral count right now is 195 for Trump, 117 for Harris. Sorry, I'm changing my go live date here, or some settings on here, because I wasn't expecting to be on as late as I am. All right, so. Still no updates. I'll be back when we have some more news, so stay tuned. Here's an interesting thing here, looking at the race for Senate. Marino has pulled ahead of Sherrod Brown. Brown got out to a big lead, probably again because they're counting, the urban centers, which is Sherrod Brown's bread and butter. Wow, that is surprising. That is just amazing. I really wasn't expecting that. Sherrod Brown has a habit of being able to squeak out victories. Still got quite a bit of voting to go, but to be ahead by a couple 100,000 votes at any point is, wow. I was not expecting that. Let's talk about congressional districts, folks. Issue 1's going down. Issue 1 was designed to try to change this, how the districts are proportioned. According to the Constitution, your congressional districts have to be divided up in such a manner that you have about the same number of people in each district. I believe that number right now, if I remember right, is around 190,000 or so. So each one of these districts have 190,000. So if you look at it, there are some that are relatively small. And if you look, that's down around Hamilton, Warren County. That's a pretty small congressional district there. But that encompasses about 190,000 people. You got Miami and Greene County, again, about 190,000 people. But then you look at that orange above there, right in through here. All right? This is where we are. This funky looking thing is our congressional district. And, it's crazy. Like right here's Columbus, folks. Here's like Grove City, up here's Dublin, Hilliard, in through there. So that's where the people, that's where the money in the district are. I personally don't like this district for that very reason, because the candidates are going to spend so much time and effort over around here that over here at the far extreme, excuse me, we're not going to get too much love. And you know, like I said, this is up here around, you get up here, I think that's Troy, and then I'm up here in Piqua. Now, here in West Melton, we're in this district, because you see Miami County is sort of split. So you got Warren-Davidson. This is Warren-Davidson's district. You know, west rural Hamilton County, Butler, Preble, Dark, and southwest corner of Miami County. Again, you got to have about 198,000 people. So, you know, most of his population, his constituents, are probably down around here. Warren-Davidson does get up this way a little bit, though, more so than the gentleman that up here will pick with that. I'll probably never see him in my lifetime. So yeah, and then there's little old Columbus, got their own little thing. You know, that of course is Cleveland. You know, there's another long drug out one to get about 190,000 people. So issue one was tried to change the process in which these are created. I think everyone would agree that this map looks a little weird, and it's probably got some political motivations about it. I think anybody would agree to that. But it's obvious that just looking at results coming in, that people didn't think the method in which State Issue 1 was going to go about fixing that was the correct way. So, but I just had to comment on that a little bit. All right, here are the representatives to the Congress. Jim Jordan, you know, Jim Jordan is, you know, up through here, if I remember right. Matt Dittmer, percentage. Yeah. Warren-Davidson, he's well on his way to getting reelected to another term in Congress. So Mike Turner looks like he's going to win yet again. Representatives have 2-year terms. Senators have 6. All right, let me get my way back here to the local results, see if we've had any updates yet. We have not. Starting to think they are having issues over there. All right, now here's the Ohio House of Representative districts. So these are the ones that serve in Columbus. So as you can see here, again, you got different districts for that. All Miami County and the southern part of Darke County for that one. Bob Netzley, who I knew growing up, a Lara gentleman, he was our representative for decades, I think, and he pretty much covered all this area too. Remember right, we're District 80, I think. Yes, we are. Here we are. Mr. District 8, John Newman, Republicans running to represent us in Columbus. He's got 40,628 votes. Melissa Van Dyke's far behind at 14,121 out of 54,000 votes cast. So he's well on our way of being our representative in Columbus. Let's go back up here. State Senator. Here we go. Looking like both the House and the Senate will pretty much stay Republican-led in Ohio for the time. No surprise there either. Hey, we got a big update. All right, let's get into these numbers. Big update. All right. Just work our way down. 71% to 27 for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Looks like the Republicans pretty much still Justice Supreme Court. Senator Marino won 66% to 30. 3.29% for Kasich, Libertarian, so that ain't bad showing for Libertarian. Warren Davidson about 80 to 20, so he's actually, wow. He's actually outperforming Donald Trump. That's great. There was concern about whether these people would be able to do that. So that's interesting. You go Newman, like we said, he's going to win. Dr. Ginn continues to dominate over undervotes. So congratulations to him once again. All right, now this what if anyone's watching, this is what they want to know about. So let's scroll on down. Miami East, 82%, so looks like they're going to get their permanent improvements levy going. Melton Union Library, 57.26 to 42.74, so it looks like their levy's going to pass. And let's look here. All right, numbers aren't looking good. We're sitting in, they've cast, that's 5573 out of a possible 7148. Against the levy, 60% to 44 for the levy. So that's at a 77.97% turnout in the district. So things are not looking good for the Melton Union school system, and you know it looks like there's going to be some tough decisions that are going to have to be made here in the next few months, and school's going to have to regroup, and you know, unfortunately they really don't have much choice but to try again. So wow, so it's always tough when any school has a challenge getting things posted, because you know you just, unfortunately, it's just, the problem's the financing of the schools to begin with. That's where the problem's at. C&J Party Supply for hard liquor sales on Sunday. That's going to go through about 74, almost 75% to 25%. So only 15 undervotes on that one. Troy Food Mart, they got their Sunday sales. It looks like that's going to pass. These don't fill very often these days. Definitely not in Prohibition. Wawa's going to get theirs. That's good. That was important to them. Looks like Troy School, it's on track to pass. Tecumseh substitute levy, looks like that's going to go through. Tecumseh School improvements. Pretty small number of registered voters there, but looks like that's a 50-50, so that's interesting. Newton schools, income levy's going to pass. Yep, so it looks like that Milton's just not going to get over the hump this year, folks. So I think that number is great enough. I don't see that being turned around. Yeah, the odds of that turning over with the amount of ballots they have left to count is potentially have to count is very unlikely. So that's unfortunate. You hate to see anything in your communities go down to defeat. All right, so I think I'm confident enough. I'm going to wrap it on up tonight. So until next time, everybody, I hope you enjoyed my little randomness and my ranting. I enjoyed doing this. Actually, I learned a lot, and if I tried it again, I'd do it 1,000 times better. But it's been a good experience. So I've definitely learned a lot, which will benefit me in other more entertaining things down the road. Which is oftentimes when you see me doing something a little different or odd, I'm doing that to get some reps to benefit something down the road. So that's all for me, folks. I'm going to leave it at that. Again, go to the Board of Elections, boe.ohio.gov/Miami for all the latest updates on the county races. You can go to the state website and get the state races, and of course, we'll all be tuned into national media to see how the national races pan out. So everybody, crazy election year. It's been tough. We've all been passionate. We've all had our opinions. I don't know what the future holds on the national level or local. Got some tough decisions to make. Let's stay classy, folks. We can have different opinions and still respect each other and still work to find common ground for solutions to the challenges we have. So let's keep our chins up. Let's keep a smile on our face. Let's be kind to one another. Treat each other with dignity, respect, and let's just keep moving forward. Until next time, everybody, have a great day.